Are we live? We might be.
What happens if I click? I have a start streaming together button I can click. What does that
Oh, you
do?
can start streaming together. Hey, we are
Yeah.
streaming. Mobile live dashboard.
I'm gonna click it. What happens if
Let's go. Okay, skip tutorial. Great.
I don't know what I just
It's
did.
up.
Start streaming together.
Cool. Great. I'm gonna send out a quick tweet. Let's go.
You should ask if we have any miso. Wait, no. What is it? People who don't like
Misophonics.
chewing. Misophonics.
Yeah.
Out there? I feel like it should have a phobia in there. Misophonic phobia.
Miso.
Alright.
Yeah, no, they
Hey, I
just don't like
see
it.
everybody on Mark's stream.
Hey everybody, I've got throat coat tea because I'm gonna be talking because I'm reading a book, playing a game. I looked at. I'm not a lawyer. I looked at some copyright stuff, and like if you're just reading a book straight, that's not good. But this is a Dungeons and Dragons Endless Quest Dungeon of Dread game book. Pick a path to adventure. So I think it technically counts as playing a game. I'm sure I'll find out if it's not soon enough.
Notoriously non-litigious.
Yep. Well, it was published by TSR in like 1982 or one, I think. 1982, written by Rose Estes, who is going to be at Gen Con, and I'm so bummed that I'm running a game while she's giving a talk. But yeah, I got these books in. I got another stack out here. I got these books when they came out in 1982, and I read them / played them when they came out, and I was just cleaning out my bookshelf in preparation for a move, and found I still have them. I've not looked at them since, so it's been 40 plus years since I've opened this book. And we'll do it now. If people are in chat, they will also be able to join in. But you three are the Council of Doom, who will be making the decisions for our book here. I'm going to read the blurb off the back. You are Carrick, a brave knight in a world where dragons roam! Turn the pages of this Endless Quest TM book for many new and exciting adventures. When it comes to time for action, you decide. Will you fight the monsters that rush you from the dark? Will you try to trick the evil wizard who controls the dungeon? Or will you run into the unknown down another corridor? The thrills and challenges don't stop with the first reading. You can ask yourself, what if I had done it a different way? And read the book again to find out. In every Endless Quest book, you pick the path you want and find your own adventure. Not infringing on other books' phrases. Will you solve the mystery of the Dungeon of Dread? The choices are yours.
Or if you're like me, you dog ear every choice page.
Yep.
And go back and meticulously follow every possible path through the book.
I think we might wind up doing some of that. Yeah, I will try to keep an eye on chat if you all have it as well. I don't know if anyone's gonna watch this, so we'll see. This is dedicated to Tom, whoever that is. The intro to this
Died in the
one,
making of this book.
yeah, the intro to this one's a little bit longer than the like Choose Your Own Adventure books. It's a couple pages, so get yourself some hot chocolate and tuck yourself in because we're gonna be reading a little intro here. And we go. Welcome. Chat. That's what. Hey, I can have chat right here. Great. Welcome to a journey into the world of fantasy. This adventure into the Dungeon of Dread is a Dungeons and Dragons R adventure. You will find a complete adventure between the covers of this book with many possible courses of action. Some choices are simple, some are sensible, some are foolhardy, and some are dangerous. You must make all the decisions. Remember, your choice determines the outcome of your adventure in the book and in life.
But this book does not have nearly enough choices to make friends with the monsters as
We'll see.
as we would normally try.
In this
What-
book,
What do we get? We eat everything.
cook them. Dungeon Meshi Choose Your Adventure would be amazing. In this book, you play the part of a human fighter. As an adult, you stand 5 foot 9 inches tall and weigh about 150 pounds. You are smart and have survived many adventures using little more than your wits. You're well schooled in the use of weapons and are a powerful opponent. You carry a sword and a dagger, and wear a long-sleeved green tunic over leather breeches. Fine leather boots guard your feet. A long green hunter's cloak protects you from the cold. You carry flasks of oil, a tinderbox, a length of rope, and other gear in a leather pouch tied to your belt, and food and water in a
That's my
sack
encumbrance.
slung over your shoulder. Good luck and good adventuring. Page 2. Mark all
Okay,
that.
everybody write that. Does everyone have our inventory?
Yeah, mark all that down on your inventory sheets. Check your encumbrance.
I think we're at max load right now.
You're Carrick. You have stopped for the night in a strange forest, tired after a long day's walk. The area seems eerie and strange, because it's a strange forest. There's no moonlight, so the shadows are very black. The air is still and heavy. Even the usual night noises of small birds and animals are missing. Ordinarily, you would have pressed on through the dark woods to the nearest town, but this night you are too tired to take another step. Wrapping your cloak firmly around yourself, you lie down upon a soft bed of moss with your sword close at hand, and you are soon fast asleep. You dream that summer breezes ruffle your clothes. A strong breeze tugs at your cloak. You slowly awaken. Breeze? There's no breeze. The night is calm. Your reflexes scream in alarm, and you awaken. Eyes snapping open, you see a 3-foot-tall halfling, probably a thief, racist, quietly searching your clothes. In one smooth, swift movement, you jump to your feet and grab the unlucky halfling by the scruff of his neck. The halfling's eyes shine in the moonlight, and its fear is easy to see. Well, halfling, can you give me one reason why I shouldn't feed you to the crows?
Is that a thing people do?
I guess so. What accent does the halfling have? Audience participation.
A non-racist
A
one.
non-racist one.
Oh, I was going to say the opposite.
We'll do generic, weird British accent then.
Okay.
Oh, please don't do that, whines the halfling. I'm just a poor, hungry halfling named Lauris. I'm no danger to anyone. Why, I just now escaped a terrible fate. If you spare me and feed me, I'll tell you where to find all the treasures in the world. You hesitate, then lower him to the ground, saying, I have no need for all the world's riches, but what you say sparks my interest. I will spare your life and feed you if your story interests me enough to pay for my lost sleep. But I warn you, if the tale does not, I will feed you to the crows.
The very hungry, vicious crows.
A lot of
as we all
crows
know.
in here. Carefully watching.
Crows who hunger for human flesh.
Appreciate the present, and we'll bring you shiny things.
Yeah, just be friends. Carefully watching the halfling, you gather dry wood from beneath the trees to start a fire. Soon you and the halfling share its welcome warmth. Its bright light holds back the shadows of the night. You brew mugs of strong tea as the halfling falls ravenously on a mutton leg and a round of cheese. Caring a lot. He eats as though it's been years since he last saw food. Halfling, you spoke of treasure and adventure, you urged, trying not to show your curiosity. Page 4. Loris wipes his mug with a grimy finger, searching for any sugar his tongue might have missed. All the while, his large brown eyes flicker about, calculating his chances for escape. He studies the strong grace of your... This is a porn book, isn't it? This is a Chuck Tingle book. Got it.
Did you scout this ahead, Mark?
I
to
did
make sure
not.
this is-
I did not. 1982 was a different time. He studies the strong grace of your movements, your mirror-bright shield glinting in the firelight, and your sword hanging within easy reach, its hilt polished with use.
Let's get it on.
Wiping his mouth with the back of his hand, the halfling sighs and stares into the flickering fire. All is true. 'Tis a marvelous tale, and truthful too, but there are hardly any who will believe it when I get back to my home. Well, try me. I'm always ready for a good tale, and you still owe me for dinner and your life. I'll tell you, said the halfling, fixing you with a shrewd look, but you may wish you had never asked. Give it up already. Settling back against a tree stump, a faraway look comes into his eyes, and the halfling begins his tale. I've lived around these parts all my life, and a right pleasant place it was, until the magic user showed up. Kalman, he calls himself. No one knows who he is or where he came from. One day he wasn't here, the next he was. Things soon began to change for the worse. People grew poor and sickly, crops withered, and livestock weakened and died. And throughout our trouble, the magic user grew rich and powerful. Jesus Christ. Okay. Page 5. At last, people had their fill. Gathering their courage, they came upon Kalman in the middle of the night, burned his house down, and drove him from the town. He fled to these woods and claimed them as his own. We townsfolk stay far from the woods, but travelers who choose not to listen to our warnings enter the woods and are never seen again. I was always too smart for my own good, sighs the halfling. One day I decided I would learn the secret of the woods, the missing travelers, and perhaps figure out how to kill the wizard! Exclamation point. If I could do that, I could return to the village as a rich hero. So, one morning, without even a goodbye to me missus... Oh, I'm doing the right accent. It's me missus. Without even a goodbye to me missus, I slipped into the woods. I explored every inch of the evil woods and found nothing. Finally, I came to a mountain just outside the forest. I was cold and tired, and so I crawled up on a ledge of rock to rest. I was going to sit for a moment before I went home. I must have fallen asleep, for the next thing I knew, I woke up to find Kalman standing over me. So, you wanted to find me, halfling, he said. Well, now you have, and I wager you'll get more than you bargained for. With a wave of his hand, he put a spell on me so I couldn't move, and slung me over his shoulder like a trussed-up rabbit. Then we slipped through an opening in the side of the mountain. I cannot and will not tell you all the frightening things I saw. You don't even want to think of them, shudders the halfling. He carried me to the very center of the mountain, maybe the center of the world for all I know, and there I saw all the treasure in the world. You wanted to rob me, said Kalman. So look upon my treasure. You will always know just how much you have lost. Those who seek danger foolishly always find it. This is still Kalman. Those who know how to handle both danger and wealth are few and far between. You are lucky. I feel generous. I shall let you go and not even change you into a newt as you deserve. When you return to your home, none will believe you. Your friends will think you've been drinking fermented corn juice in the woods and have made this story up to cover your absence. They will laugh at you. Only you will know what you have beheld and lost. Now, be gone! Yeah, back to black smoke fell out of his fingertips, and when it cleared, I found myself in these dark woods, alone and hungry. Laurus stares into the fire for a long time without speaking. Finally, he rouses himself and says with a shaky laugh, You can see now I'm just a poor halfling. I've no arm or help to anyone. Page 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a couple more pages. Great.
Oh, no.
You feel sorry for the forlorn little fellow and are curious about... I'm going to 2 times speed. About the evil wizard and the fabulous treasure. Strangely enough, you do believe the tale, even though the little man is clad in a grimy patched cloak and has one toe peeking through his tattered leather boots. His eyes hold a stubborn look that says, I'm not a quitter. Life has used the halfling hard, and yet he has courage. If he were given encouragement and a fair chance, he might prove a worthy companion. Laurus, you say gently, could you find the opening in the mountain again? The halfling stares at you for a moment before he answers. Surely I could, but it would mean your death. Kalman would not allow you to survive as he did me. I was a moment's amusement, but you would be a serious threat. Anyway, the monsters would get you first. They're scary. I don't remember them clearly, but I remember enough to give me nightmares for the rest of my life. You're crazy to even think about going in there. You can get me to go back there for 1,000,000 zillion gold pieces. You fold your arms and stare at the halfling, tapping your fingers against your shoulder. Laurus shakes his head and says, I see nothing that I say will persuade you. As the wizard said, those who search for danger will find it. Who can I tell? You might even succeed where I failed. I will take you to the rock. At least it will prove I spoke the truth. Gathering a few possessions, you quickly break camp and follow the halfling into the dark woods. The night is still dark. Without the halfling's knowledge of the way, you would be hopelessly lost. Trees loom out of the darkness, brambles clutch at your legs, and sharp stones cut into the soles of your boots. At last, the mountain rises before you, silhouetted against the night. The halfling searches about for a while and then cries, Oh, here it is! A large dark crack looms in the mountain before you. You turn to the halfling, almost expecting him to have disappeared, but he has remained faithfully by your side instead of scurrying off into the night as you have found the opening. Halfling, what will happen to you if you return to your village? You ask. Loris laughs a bitter laugh. If I tell the truth, me missus will scold me. She's a hard woman. If I don't tell the truth, she'll still yell at me for disappearing and not talk to me, although that might be a blessing. 1982. I will just go back to being little Loris, the baker's helper. Page 9. Whew.
Yeah, you can see there's also a whole thing where the halflings say, like, halflings drive like this.
They walk like this, and barbarians walk like this. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost at the first choice. Loris, you say. It took great heart and courage to try such a dangerous task. Would you consider joining me on a second adventure? Kalaman will never expect you to return, and with your assistance, we may defeat the evil wizard. If we succeed, you will return home a hero. Thereafter, you'll be known as Loris the Brave. The halfling looks down at the ground, his shoulders sagging. I couldn't do it, he whispers. I'm not a fighter. Pick somebody who won't let you down. I don't want anybody else. I need you, and I want you. You can do it if you believe in yourself. After a long pause, the halfling looks up into your eyes and pulls at his beard. Do you really need my help? Do you really need my help? There it is. Do you really think I could do it? I'll be honest, I'm scared. Much of what I saw seems like a nightmare to me, all scary and creepy and blurry. But I would like to be Loris the Brave. A real adventure, he muses. One that might actually succeed. You're strong and handy with your weapons. I'll bet you're tricky too. More of a challenge for that wizard than I was. But I've been there. Maybe I could help. Maybe I could do it. What have I got to lose? Me missus scolds me and others laugh at my size. There's not much to lose and lots to get. Is he small for a halfling? Or too big? I don't know. His face fades. His voice fades as he thinks to himself. And finally he shouts, Yes, I'll do it. I'm your man if you want me. Can you handle a weapon, you ask? I've had little call to use one as a baker's helper, but I know the basics every child learns. Replies the halfling. I'm loyal and very strong. Well spoken, Loris. I've met giants who bore the hearts of mites. People should never judge a man by his size. The things that matter, truth, loyalty, courage, and honor, will never be found on a yardstick. The halfling smiles up at you, his round eyes rimmed with bright tears. Come, no time for tears. Now then, I am called Carrick. Clasp my hand, and let us swear our loyalty to each other and to our mission. The halfling slides a small leathery hand into yours, and you soon swear the oath. Well, you say, there's no reason to stay. Let the adventure begin. You look at the stars and then breathe deeply of the clean, crisp air. Then, with your hand wrapped firmly around the hilt of your sword, you step into the opening. Inside, all is quiet. It appears a simple cave. Even though the halfling's tale sounded true, you question it for just a moment. As your eyes grow accustomed to the darkness, you see a skeleton leaning against the wall in one corner, staring at the opposite wall. A small shield lies at its side. With a little polishing, it could shine just as brightly as your own. You pick up the shield and give it to Loris, also handing him your dagger. Racist. The halfling takes the weapon and shield, holding the dagger gingerly with his fingertips. It's not gonna bite you, you say. Hold it firmly. Be ready. Don't strike until you're certain of your target, and once you begin, do not falter. I'll try to do my best, Loris says, putting the dagger in his belt. I'm scared, but I won't let you down. He begins polishing the shield, and your eyes follow the skeleton's gaze and see a message scrawled in red on the wall of the cave. Watch the water that is not water, and beware the basilisk. The rest of the cave is empty, except for a pile of leaves and twigs in the west corner, and a hole in the wall under the message. Well, Loris, where do we go from here, you ask? I do not know, the halfling replies. I do not remember any trails, just some of the things I saw. Nightmares, etc. If you wish to investigate the hole in the wall, turn to page 13. If you wish to check the pile of leaves in the corner, turn to page 15. I think we'll do this. It should be unanimous, right? Go ahead.
Let me just say, I seriously thought the first choice was coming way back when he said, "If I tell my wife the truth, this will happen. But if I lie, this will happen."
He's got his own little adventure book going on.
Anyway,
Anyway, no choices to make here.
Yeah. Here's a cue. Let's give it to the guy. Mark, I enjoyed that, but I have to say I grew up with the number 3, Pillars of Pentagon.
Oh, Pillars of
I was
Pentagon.
wondering if we should just go here. Ready? Chapter page 2. A scaly, bark-covered hand. Don't worry, guys. Just hold on for a minute. You'll get an action on page 8. Okay.
Oh, yes.
I'm not actually going to read this intro.
Wraps his long, thin fingers around your shoulder. Ooh, hello. Yeah, these are spicy.
Yeah, that was definitely some fan fiction there.
oh, man.
All right, so how are we doing this choice thing?
Just unanimous, I think. Or since there's 3, maybe the Council of Doom will majority vote. So,
I mean, as a
hole in the
as a
wall or pile of
completist,
leaves?
I feel like we can't leave the room until we explore the leaves first. We have to collect
That's the
everything.
same logic.
I was going to say we should choose. We should always choose the thing that sounds most like double entendre. So,
Oh.
Fantastic.
I just think there's treasure waiting under them leaves.
also, I would have loved to see if, like, at one point, so you're reading the halfling, and then he's like, "Oh, I left without saying goodbye to, like, my rabbi." Oh man, I gotta rethink this accent. I mean, there's Cockney Jews.
I'm sure. I'm just so glad me missus was in there. That's great. That worked out really well.
I
So,
vote leaves.
for completion, leaves. For innuendo, hole. What are we choosing?
Leaves.
Leaves.
2 for leaves? All right. That will be page 15. Oh, these are not numbered in. There's like page 12, and then a page with just a picture on it, and then page 13.
That's not how pages work.
Okay, cool. Right. The pile looks like a harmless clump of leaves and twigs, perhaps the nest of an animal. However, just to be sure, you place 1 foot in the middle of the pile, intending to spread the debris out on the floor of the cave. Your foot finds no solid footing, and your arms waving wildly, you lose your balance. Whoosh! You are falling. You slide rapidly down a chute carved from solid rock. The sides are as smooth as glass. You are moving much too fast to stop yourself. You fly out of the chute and land on your back. The fall knocks the breath out of you. You are attempting to catch your breath when, thud, another figure flies through the air and lands on the floor beside you. Oh! Groans Loris. I was so scared when you disappeared like that. I thought maybe you'd been eaten by a monster. No, not a monster. Just a hole. Are you alright? Any bones broken? No, he moans. I'm not hurt. As the 2 of you catch your breath, you notice you are in a corridor carved from solid rock. A single torch burns in a bracket on the wall, and you can see that a tunnel branches off to your left. Ahead of you, you hear footsteps approaching. A large, ugly man-thing walks into your sight carrying a torch. The creature has an ugly snout and long, sharp teeth. It's an orc. It will discover you at any moment. If you choose to try and step into the side tunnel without being discovered, turn to page 22. If you decide to stand and fight the orc, turn to page 20. Orc friend.
Neither one of those is an orc friend, so I'm torn.
Kiss the
How to
orc.
parse this.
Gonna have to add some new pages.
So, sidestep in a tunnel or fight the orc. I'm gonna go. Well, the closest option to orc friend is stepping in a tunnel. It sounds like we don't want to fight the orc. We're gonna just we're in the orc's territory here. Let's just.
Unless fighting is a way to show friendship for orcs.
Oh, that's a good point.
Different cultures.
Like Chewbacca in the Solo
Mhm.
movie.
Exactly. Hit that
Oh,
pillar.
now you got me torn. What do y'all think? If y'all are unanimous.
I think side passage, but this is me kind of trying to psych out the book. Avoid fighting at the very start before you have, cooler equipment or something that's dangerous.
Sounds like side passage then.
I can dig it.
All right. Side passage, page 22. All right.
First decision, cowardice.
Yes.
The orc draws closer. It will see you at any moment. You kneel down on the ground and grab a small pebble. You jump up and fling it towards the monster. It lands behind him and skips down the corridor. Echoes magnify the sound. The orc spins on its heel and rushes off into the gloom to investigate the mysterious noise. Quick, Loris, you whisper, running into the side corridor. You hurry along the corridor, which is rough and pocked with signs of mining. Torches set in iron brackets light the way. Boulders and other debris litter the corridor and slow your progress. Just as you begin to feel safe, Loris grabs your arm and says, "I hear someone talking." Halflings have superior hearing, so you do not doubt his word. Turn to page 39.
That's not a choice.
That's not a choice. Aha! Quickly, you duck behind a large boulder and peer out. You see 2 goblins coming towards you. One of them carries a torch. They are 4 feet tall with dirty yellow skin and sharp, nasty teeth. The 2 goblins must be miners, because they're young looking, I guess? No, because they carry picks and shovels. Maces and short swords hang from their belts. One of them argues over the ownership of a stone the other holds.
Listen, Scrag, I'm in charge of this job. Everything we find comes to me to be divided. How can you divide only one stone, Bloomfell?
Demands Scrag.
I think you're trying to steal it from me, you thief. Who are you calling a thief?
Shouts Bloomfell and pulls out its short sword.
I'll show you who's a thief. Take this.
It strikes Scrag. Let's attack them now, you say, before they attack us. I think we should hide, says Loris. If we're lucky, they won't see us and maybe we can avoid a fight. If you wish to attack the goblins, turn to page 40. If you do not wish to attack the goblins, turn to page 43.
I think we've well established our cowardly nature at this point. I'm saying hi.
Yeah, I can go.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Moving back to avoid the blow, Scrag trips over you.
No.
Both goblins forget their anger with each other when they spot you and the halfling. With shrieks of fury, they fall upon you. You swing your sword and slash Scrag across its chest. It falls to the ground dead, but Bloomfell manages to stick its sword into your side. A sharp burning pain lances through your side that just got stuck with the sword. Realizing you must win this battle quickly, you shove Bloomfell into the wall and stab the evil goblin with your sword. The evil creature falls to the floor. You collapse on the ground. Loris digs inside your pouch and finds some bandages. "They were just lucky," he says, "but it looks like we'll have to leave the rest of this dungeon unexplored." "Only for a short time," you say. "I'll soon heal and will return." Loris helps you to your feet, and you retrace your path out of the dungeon and into the forest. By tomorrow morning, you will be planning your return to the Dungeon of Dread. The end.
Yay!
That's not an end.
Let's go start a tavern.
Oh, I got stabbed once. Let's go.
Yes. Well, because that does follow with our. We've been. Oh God! Oh, I got poked. Let's leave. I don't like adventuring.
But what if we decided to attack the goblins? What would happen
That's
then?
what I meant to say. I meant to say let's attack the.
Yeah, let's try that one instead. Oh, that gives us a little bit of exposition. Great. If we move quickly before they notice us an attack, we can surely defeat them, you whisper. Climb up on top of this boulder and grab a rock. When I give the signal, you drop the rock on top of the nearest goblin. Are you crazy? Whispers Loris. I don't want to drop any rock on its head. Listen, Loris, this is no time to argue. Just do as I say. We'll talk about it later. The halfling mumbles into his beard, but scrambles onto the boulder and clutches the rock to his chest. As the goblins pass by, you holler, "Now!" And Loris drops the boulder on Bloomfell, the goblin closest to you. It falls to the ground. Before Scrag can draw its sword, you leap out and fling yourself upon the evil goblin. You take the goblin by surprise, knocking it to the ground. It rolls out from under you and swings its sword into your shoulder. Ow! Enraged, you laugh at the goblin with your own sword. The goblin crumples onto the ground. You take some cloth from your pouch and begin to bind the wound. "Here, let me help," says Loris, scrambling down the boulder. No. He takes some more cloth from your pouch and binds the wound as best he can. As you start to leave the corridor, Loris stumbles and falls to the ground. He sits on the ground, rubbing his foot. "Oh, I've stubbed my toe on a stupid rock," he says. He grabs a rock and starts to throw it against the wall and stops suddenly. What's this? He asks. Oh, you look at the size of this thing. It's an emerald as large as a pigeon's egg. I've never seen anything so pretty, not even my wife. Laura sighs and then reluctantly hands it to you. Handing it back, you say, if it hadn't been for your help, we might not have succeeded. I might have got a sword to my side and we would have to leave. Lars grins and puts it carefully into his pocket. The two of you cover all signs of struggle in the area and continue down the hide the bodies, that's what it sounds like. Soon the corridor divides. The passage on the right is dimly lit and silent. The passage on your left opens to a small room. From the light of the torches in the corridor, you see one large and several smaller dog-like creatures. They are yapping, yelping, and barking. You reach for your sword. Suddenly, the adult dog disappears, and reappears full 3 feet away from where it first stood. The pups also disappear and reappear behind the larger creature. Dogs, says Loris, blinking. I hate dogs. They like to chase me because I'm so little. Show them who's the master, Carrick. Chase the mutts away. I don't know, you reply. These are blink dogs, and they can be tricky. They're smart and hard to hit if you have to fight them. If you wish to attack them, turn to page 103. If you try to decide to make friends with them, turn to page 96.
Okay, I really thought we were gonna have an Raiders of the Lost Ark scene for a minute where Loris was like, "Let me kiss where it hurts."
Let me burn your wounds.
Well, we did have Dogs I Hate Dogs, and Raiders was 1 year
That's
before
true.
this.
That's true. Why do it have to be
Well, I
dogs?
Given as actually a choice, how can we not make friends with the dogs?
Dog friends. The council agrees.
Yeah.
Turn to page 96. Ooh, deep in there. You decide not to attack. Instead, you bow before the blink dogs. They yip and yelp and seem to smile at you. Then blink, they're gone. You are glad you didn't fight them. Hey! Hey! Exclaims Loris. How did you get them to do that? I wish I'd known that trick when I was young. Dogs always seem to think I was something good to eat. You do not enter the room. Instead, you continue down the corridor as you are following. It turns to the left. Suddenly, blink! The blink dogs appear in front of you with no warning. Oh! Cries Loris, leaping behind you. They're coming to get me. Make them go away. But the blink dogs crowd about your legs, licking your hands and nipping at your heels. They follow you down the corridor, frisking about and occasionally blinking in and out. The halfling bravely controls his fear of them. You pass a corridor on your right that reflects green light. The dogs avoid the corridor, but you do not. You walk down the corridor just far enough to see a room with a large stone pillar in the center of it. There's a pool of green slime near the base of the pillar, and globs of the horrible stuff drip from the ceiling and archways in the room. You just quickly decide to go back to the corridor where the dogs wait. The dogs are glad to see you return, and they trot down the corridor ahead of you. You are following them when they stop and snarl at the corridor ahead. Bright white fangs threaten the unseen enemy. You are even happier now that you did not choose to fight the dogs. But what has alarmed them so? You hear a strange clicking noise from around the corner. Peering around the corner, you see 2 skeletons approaching. Both skeletons hold swords in their bony hands. You draw back in horror. If you choose to fight the skeletons with the blink dogs, turn to page 80. If you decide the skeletons are too frightening to face, run back to the slime-filled room and leave the blink dogs to their fates.
Oh no, we're not leaving doggies.
Yeah.
We can't.
They know
leave the
what they
dog.
got into. These.
Look, don't we know everybody? How many times have I seen like the only way you turn the audience against you is by killing a dog, or you can't. If we leave the dogs behind,
letting a dog come to harm.
we become the bad guys. If we leave the dogs behind.
Hey, was that? Sorry, Peter. Was that like Asimov's rules of robotics?
Robotics or whatever. Yeah.
You can't outrun our action or inaction. Yeah.
Harm the dogs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool, so we're going to choose to fight the skeletons with the blink dogs and turn to page 80.
Why can't the blink dogs run away with us?
The skeletons round the corner and advance, their swords held high. Dogs jump at the slow-moving skeletons, distracting them, and you land several solid blows on the awful monsters. With the help of the blink
dogs
dogs...
get +1 against bones.
Against bones, that's right. With the help of the blink dogs, you soon reduce the skeletons to a heap of broken bones. The blink dogs nose around the pile, and each grabs a bone with its mouth. With one last dog-like grin in your direction, they blink away. Phew, says Loris. That's the closest I've ever come to liking a dog. Breathing a sigh of relief, the two of you chuckle at Loris's comment and start walking down the corridor the skeletons came from. Turn to page 62.
So that was like our one use of blink dog companion, and then
Yep.
they used up. They're gone away.
All right. 62. As you enter the corridor. Say again?
I was just gonna say, like, I mean, as we all know, dogs are known for their fickleness.
Yeah,
and
they're
their,
not loyal at all.
Well, these are blink dogs, okay?
Yeah.
Totally different.
Cool. As you enter the corridor, you hear the sound of grinding stone and see some dust fall from the ceiling. Something's wrong, you whisper to the halfling. Let's get out of here. You turn around and start retracing your footsteps. However, before you've gone 2 paces, a tremendous roar knocks you off your feet and the passage before you collapses. When the dust settles, you see the corridor is completely blocked with large boulders, heavy timbers, and dirt. It's impossible, you say. We'll never dig out without tools. We can only go forward. Reluctantly, the two of you stagger to your feet, turn around, and walk down the corridor, alert for danger at every step. The corridor ends in a room. A feeling of menace hangs heavy in the air. But what you see seems harmless enough. The room is approximately 20 feet square and dimly lit. The ceiling and walls are rough with stalactites hanging from the ceiling. The floor is smooth. A stone well, about 3 feet tall, stands in the middle of the room. The well is covered with mysterious carvings of ugly faces. Sword in hand, you approach the well carefully. Don't do that! Get away! Screams the halfling. You stare at the halfling in shock. There's something horrible in there, Laura says, trembling, but I can't remember it clearly. Carmen picked me up on my feet and dangled me over the pool. Oh, he thought it was funny. I didn't think it was so funny. What kind of monster is it, you ask. I don't know, he answers. I never saw anything like it before. Sneaking carefully up to the well, you glance in quickly and discover it contains only a shallow pool of water.
I remember.
All of your instincts scream, danger! Everything in you says, leave now! But you do not. You can't go back the way you came, and you've come too far to let mysterious carvings around a pool of water frighten you.
They don't know us.
I gotta say, this book, I've noticed lots of judgment about everything being ugly and everybody's so ugly.
Yeah.
1982.
Why can't dungeon designers look at the beautiful things? Just like, why can't journalists talk about good
Trolls ugly. Orcs are so ugly.
Sure, they have good qualities.
I remember what did the wall say? It just said basically beware of the water that's not water.
The wall said, watch the water that is not water and beware the basilisk.
Oh shit.
Those sound like 2 different warnings, but we'll see what
We're
happens.
supposed to watch.
What's our choice here?
Watch
Do
the
we have a
water.
choice here?
There's no choice yet.
Oh, there's no choice.
Got a little bit of exposition here.
I thought we had a choice.
Mid-dungeon exposition. You look in again and see that the water's crystal clear. You see a bright gold key at the bottom of the pool. The tip of the key is fashioned like a cross with diamonds on each end, and colored gems decorate each corner. The key must be valuable and open the lock to something of great importance. Look, Loris, look, you call, but the halfling buries his head in his hand and does not respond. If the key is important, why would it be left lying around in a pool of harmless water? Perhaps the water is not so harmless. You could reach in and see what happens. But if a monster does lurk in there, as Loris believes, that would not be a good idea. Looking about the room, you see several things you did not notice at first glance. There are 2 doorways, one to your left and one to your right. Both are dark. You cannot see beyond them. Bones lie scattered on the floor. Loris, bring me one of those big bones. The halfling slowly drags a 3-foot-long bone, a bone as big as him, to you. Picking the bone up, you probe the bottom of the pool gingerly, trying to snag the key. Suddenly, the bone is wrenched from your hand with great violence. The water erupts from the pool. A watery, cobra-like head rises out of the pool. It surges at you with its mouth open, and you jump back quickly. Once you're out of its striking range, the watery creature sinks back into the pool. See, I told you. But no, you wouldn't believe me, cries the halfling. We've got to get out of here before it eats us. Calm down, you say. It can't get us as long as we stay here. It's a water weird. A snake made out of water. It can't leave the pool. I've heard them mentioned in old tales, but I thought they were never real. Look real enough to me, says the halfling, his teeth chattering. You're silent as you try to remember all you have heard of water weirds. You know they'll attack any living thing. It drags any creature it strikes into the pool to drown it. Weapons rarely hurt the monster. If you decide you do not wish to fight this dreadful monster, you may choose to leave the valuable key, the monster, and the room. If you decide to leave, you may leave by the doorway on your left. You notice a cool breeze blowing from this doorway. You may leave by the doorway on the right, or you can decide to stay to get the mysterious key.
Well, clearly we should get the key. I mean, nothing bad could happen.
Nothing bad could
See,
happen.
this is where having limited choices. I mean, I remember in these books so often it'd be like, oh, I know what I'm thinking, so I make this choice, and then it makes that choice and does something really dumb. I was like, no, that's not what I meant by doing that choice, you stupid boy.
Oh, yeah.
I bashed my head repeatedly into the door until I died. The end.
Because, like, I feel like them saying, like, oh, it attacks any living creature is like, oh, maybe there's a way to get the key if you use, like, the bones or something not living. But see, there's not enough details in the decision about how we're going to get the key if we stay and do that. You know, for all I know, I might be like, you reach into the water and the water weird eats you. Yeah. Like, God damn it,
Yeah.
what are y'all thinking?
So there was one door with a breeze, and
Yeah.
then was there a second door?
And the second door that's just dark.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards breeze door, but
Let's try it. Yeah.
I could get behind Breeze Door.
Breeze door
I
it
like a good
is.
breeze.
I mean, I imagine climate change will take care of the water weird eventually.
Eventually, yeah. I'm gonna leave a bookmark in this page because it's got a couple choices. Cool.
I mean, how can a breeze possibly be bad?
Nothing could be wrong there. Turn to page 86. As you travel down this corridor, away from the water weird, you see that another passage opens to the left. It's dimly lit, but you see nothing. Let's stay out of that corridor for now, you say. As you continue down the corridor, you see stone faces carved in the side of the corridor. The faces have ugly, snarling features. Gosh, Carrick, Laura says, look at those ugly faces.
Author loves ugly. Just calling things ugly.
As you proceed, the carvings become larger. The corridor is now flanked by man-sized stone monsters with such hideous expressions you're almost too terrified to walk past them. They're only stone, Loris, you say, with more courage than you feel. The two of you creep along under the gaze of the stone monsters. A large torchlit room opens before you. Large wooden beams rise on both sides of the doorway. You notice the corridor continues on the other side of the room. As you examine the room, you feel as though 1,000 eyes are watching you. Before you stands the most horrible collection of statues you have ever seen. Stone monsters only a madman could imagine leer down at you from their pedestals. You stand in the doorway too frightened to continue. It is well that you do so, for one of the statues moves. It's a living gargoyle. It's the size of a man, but the color of stone. Bat-like wings rise from its back, and it has knife-sharp hooks on its elbows and knees. A long spiral horn protrudes from its forehead. The gargoyle's hands end in long, sharp claws, and it has a long, whip-like tail. The halfling presses to your side and raises his small shield to hide behind. You know gargoyles are ferocious predators that attack anything and love to torture their prey. You know also that they sometimes serve an evil master. It's possible the gargoyle is Kalman's servant. Perhaps the wizard is near. If you think you must fight the gargoyle, even though it is one of the fiercest creatures you expect to meet in this dungeon, enter the room and turn to page 100. If you do not wish to fight the gargoyle, return to the dimly lit corridor you passed earlier and turn to page 81.
well, clearly it wants us to fight the gargoyle.
A totally boring gargoyle that nothing happens when you fight.
I also, you know, I love how now everything's ugly and long. His long tail, his long horns, his long legs, his long claws, he's got long teeth. They're all ugly too.
Ugly and long. Getting strong friend vibes.
I mean, I could. What are y'all thinking? Attack? Are we gonna attack Gargoyle?
I was assuming the book was discouraging us from doing that.
I mean,
But that's why we should do it. He's the fiercest. The dungeon rules are like prison rules.
Yeah.
You find the biggest.
Fight the biggest guy first, and then
Punch
yeah.
it.
well, and also just think like if
And
our
then you use the
goal,
library in the dungeon.
if our goal is to find this wizardy dude, then this could be. The theory is, this might be our next path to the wizardy dude.
It's true.
So we probably can't just back away from everything in the dungeon.
I mean, if
And
it
he didn't.
kills us, it'll kill us quickly, I think.
No, it does say he likes to torture us.
It
Remember?
does like to torture its prey.
But we don't got our blink wolves anymore.
Mm.
It's just us and
Marked off that
the
ally
cowardly.
use. Yep.
I don't know, guys. That could go either way.
I vote attack.
Okay.
It's like Seinfeld. Do the thing you wouldn't do. Right?
Oh.
Anti-George. Right?
All right, let's do it.
Establish.
We've been cowardly long enough. We made a friend, and now it's time to make an enemy.
All right. Fighting the gargoyle, page 100. Mm-mm.
You win. The end.
You doubt the corridor behind you holds anything less hideous than the gargoyle. Your heart racing wildly, you decide to take your chances with the gargoyle. Slowly, you edge around the corner of the wooden beam on the side of the doorway. Laurus, who has remained close by your side, stumbles over a rock and falls full length upon the ground with a large whoomp. Your courage fails you, and your feet refuse to move. You stand frozen with fear. The gargoyle swivels its ugly head in your direction and gives a terrible shriek. Leaping down from its pedestal, it prances and dances like a demon, flapping its wings and drawing ever closer and closer. "Run, Garrick, run! Don't stop for me!" cries the halfling. But you cannot leave your friend. The gargoyle's eyes fix on you, still standing in front of the wooden beam. The gargoyle is now only 10 feet from you. It continues to prance about, showing exactly what it plans to do with you.
What, dance?
Dance. We're gonna dance. We're gonna dance.
Gonna prance with us?
At last, bored with its taunting, the gargoyle draws back and lowers its head until the spiral horn points at your chest, and it runs towards you.
I'm not on mute.
Waiting until the last minute, you fall and lay at the base of the wooden beam.
And this is also being.
The gargoyle charges over you, and unable to stop its rush, slams into the beam so hard it impales its horn deep in the wood. Try as it might, it cannot pull its horn out of the beam. Its screams echo through the room and down the corridor. The beast's arms and legs kick and flail, battering you. Quickly scrambling to your feet, you and Laurus race off into the corridor on the opposite side of the room.
I wanted to cut its head off.
Turn to page 94.
Some bullshit.
That's one way of beating it. This corridor is smooth and well lit. Gripping your sword and your mirror-bright shield firmly as you stride down the passageway, you come to an archway in front of you. The sound of heavy breathing comes from beyond. A cool breeze blows down a tunnel running uphill on your left. Suddenly, mocking laughter rings out from the archway, and a deep voice says, "Oh, is this, Calmy? Yeah. Well done, fighter!" A deep voice. "Well done, fighter! Hello again, halfling! You surprise me. I had not thought to see you again." There's a long silence. "Maybe we should turn back," says Laurus. "That sounded like cowmen." "The treasure is probably very close," you say. "I don't want to give up yet." If you choose to seek the treasure and possibly face Common, go down the tunnel and turn to page 108. If you decide to avoid the wizard, go back up the corridor and turn on the left and turn to page 81.
I mean, kind of got to face the wizard, don't we? At this point.
I think so. Yeah.
Wizard it is, 108.
Wizard time.
Wizard time. Well, you say, shaking yourself, I guess this is what we came for. If we've come this far, we might as well see it through. With great caution, the two of you approach a bend in the corridor and slowly peek around the corner. A large cavern lies before you. Gold coins lie in heaps on the sandy floor. Gems sparkle every color of the rainbow over the entire floor. Heavy silver bricks are stacked in great mounds near the walls. Your breath is taken away by the vast treasure, far more treasure than any person could ever use in a lifetime. My apologies, Laurus, you say. I thought you were exaggerating, but you were not. It does seem that all the world's treasure is here. At last, reason returns to both of you. You were so dazzled by the treasure, you failed to notice some other details in the cavern. 2-inch iron bars protect the treasure. They would be impossible to break. The only opening in the barrier is a small iron door with an unusual keyhole, shaped like a cross with a diamond on each end. Garrick, look at all the statues. Don't they look odd? You notice a number of statues standing around the iron bars. Some of them actually clutch the bars in their hands. The statues are remarkably lifelike. They're humans, halflings, elves, and even a dwarf. Both of you move closer, marveling at the workmanship of the statues. They are very lifelike. You're right, Laurus. Look at their expressions.
And long and ugly.
Long and ugly. More than half wear expressions of horror on their faces. Many have raised hands, although as though protecting themselves from danger. What kind of sculptor could have created such strange figures?
Oh, now we're arts prediction.
Suddenly, the terrible thought enters your mind. Laurus, you ask, do you think these statues were not sculpted? Maybe they were living beings who were turned to stone. Remember the words written on the entrance? Watch the water that is not water, and beware of a basilisk. I think we've stumbled into the basilisk's lair. The fate of the statues, who were once living beings, is now clear. Anyone unfortunate to look into the eyes of a basilisk instantly turns to stone. There is no escape. And no saving throw, apparently. What can we do? What can we do to protect ourselves? Asked the halfling wildly. I don't want to be a statue. Quickly you think of all you know about these dreadful creatures. A basilisk is a reptilian monster nearly 10 feet long. The only way to protect yourself from turning into stone is to reflect the basilisk's gaze back into your own eyes so it will be turned to stone. Suddenly, the heavy breathing becomes louder. Oh no, it's the basilisk! Oh no, you don't dare turn around. Laurus, you whisper, don't turn around. Whatever you do, do not turn around. You stand in place, eyes tightly closed, trying to think of your next move. Evil laughter bursts forth and a voice hisses. Do you know our secret, fighter? Come, turn around and meet my pet. Not many come this far and none leave, except, of course, your small friend. It seems I made a mistake, but who expects worms to grow backbones? This dungeon is a profitable and pleasant place for me, and I do not intend to let you spoil my fun. Come, turn around! A wild plan forms in your mind. You don't know if it'll work, but it's worth a try. Anything is better than becoming the newest statue in the wizard's collection. Quickly, you whisper your plan to Laurus. Slowly, the two of you lower your heads and raise your shields at the same time. The highly polished surfaces cover your faces. Perhaps you can reflect the horrible creature's gaze back into its own eyes and turn to stone. You spin around to face the basilisk. You hear it hiss as it approaches and feel its hot breath on your legs. Abruptly, there is a crunching, crackling, splintering sound, and then there's only silence. Kalman, you call out. We would go in peace. There's no answer. Garrick, the halfling says. The breathing has stopped. You peer out from behind your shield. At first you see only sand. Then you see a scaly hide, but the hide is made of stone. The basilisk lies outside in the sand, frozen forever in stone. It worked, Laurus. Our plan worked. But where? It worked. No, it worked, Laurus. Our plan worked. But where is Coleman? Maybe he fled, like a little bitch. If you want to search the room, turn to page 115. Perhaps Coleman fled when you turned his basilisk to stone. You may try to open the lock guarding the treasure. Turn to page 113.
How? We don't have the key.
I don't know.
So we can't chase after the wizard?
It doesn't. I think.
Wait, wasn't the first choice? What was the first choice?
I think the first choice is that one.
Oh, okay.
I'll search the room. Maybe he's hiding.
Maybe he's hiding.
Oh, yeah, because first one said he might have fled. What was the rest of that first choice?
If you want to search the room, turn to page 115. Perhaps Coleman fled when you turn to stone. You can try to open the lock guarding the treasure. Turn to page 113.
feel like we should search the room just because, like, I feel like we don't have the key,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so that's not likely that we'll open that lock.
All right. 1:15. Coleman steps into your sight.
Here I am, worms, he says. My little joke has gone on too long. What shall I do with you? Maybe I'll turn you into slugs, then I can step on you whenever I please.
How about a fair fight, Coleman? You ask.
Don't be silly, fighter, he answered. I didn't study all these years to fight fair. I much prefer fighting like a magic user.
He roars with laughter and shoots 4 bursts of silver white light from his fingers. You and the halfling jump for cover.
Hiding won't save you, my little slugs,
He hisses. You hear sizzling noises and a blinding pain surges through your elbow. You have time to do no more than gasp with pain before 8 more bursts arc towards you. Rolling in terror, you try to dodge, but they follow you and burn into your body. Magic missile! You lay, gasping on the ground, dimly aware of Laurus whimpering in the background. Kalman laughs.
Do you see what I mean? Now, stop your silly whining and come here, heroes, he sneers. I want to change you into worms.
Kalman beckons you with a
Long,
skinny...
ugly worm.
With a long, skinny finger. You find your body crawling towards him despite your mind's desire to escape his foul lair. A little reading here. At last you lie stretched out in the sand in front of Kalman. Laurus moans softly as he crawls to your side.
My sweet pet,
Kalman croons to his stone basilisk.
I shall avenge you. Shall I turn them into slugs or little black spiders? Both squish nicely when you step on them.
Your skin crawls. You do not want to be turned into any kind of bug. If only you could draw your weapon. Suddenly, the halfling's furious voice screams, No! You aren't going to turn me into a bug? I hate bugs! You lift your head in amazement as Laurus flings himself at the wizard. I don't want to be a bug, screams the halfling, locking his arms around Kalman's knees and struggling to topple the evil wizard. Kalman's amusement turns to anger. He finds it difficult to pull the halfling away. Kalman raises his hands and points his fingertips at the halfling. Laurus screams, No! I don't want to be hurt either! He gives a great jerk that throws Kalman off balance. For a moment, the halfling and the wizard sway back and forth. Then the two topple to the ground. Ignoring your pain, you force yourself to your knees and crawl to the struggling wizard and halfling.
Get off me, you miserable halfling! I'll turn you into a centipede!
Screams the wizard, attempting to free himself. I hate bugs! I hate bugs! Screams the halfling. Finally, Kalman wrenches one leg free and kicks at the halfling. You realize this is your only chance. If you're to live, you must do something now. Gathering all your strength, you fling yourself on top of the struggling wizard and grab both his wrists to prevent him from throwing any more spells. Kalman roars in fury. His evil face is only inches away from your own. His lips curl in back like a dog likes smile. Oh, where? Here we go. There it is. A dog like snarl.
You cannot win, fighter! Even with this stupid halfling holding my leg, I'm more than a match for you. When you creep through black tunnels on your belly, waving your antennae in the air, you will wish you had never touched me.
You're about to reply when the wizard shoves you mightily. Both of you tumble, locked in each other's grip. Laurus clings as hard as he can to Kalman's legs. Do something, Carrick, he cries. Do something. Do what? You gasp. I don't want to be turned into a bug any more than you. Try as you may, you cannot do more than just hold on to Kalman. You are weakening fast. The constant bashing causes your injuries to throb and ache. Risking the chance Kalman will free himself, you reach down and draw your sword. Kalman dashes you against the cavern wall, and your aching fingers drop the weapon. Kalman yells triumphantly and rolls away. He seizes your sword and flings it across the room. Okay. All right. Exposition time. Rolling away from Kalman, you strike the treasure room bars. Realizing you are near the end of your strength, Kalman jumps on top of you. No! He hisses, pointing a bony finger at your face. Just as you think the end is near, Kalman screeches terribly and falls aside. You bit me! The wizard screams. Let go! Let go! Laurus has wrapped himself around Kalman's legs, his teeth clamped on the evil wizard's leg. You scramble for your sword, but it lies across the room. Your hand fumbles about, searching for anything that can serve as a weapon. Your fingers close upon coins, jewels, a chalice. Useless! All useless! Suddenly, your fingers encounter a slender, heavy metal rod. The rod grows warm as you touch it. As you bring it forward, you see the rod glows pale green. Kalman's eyes open wide, and he grows pale. Horror spreads over his face. He cringes, hands held before him, trying to escape the rod. His mouth moves, but no words come out. You strike Kalman with the rod. Before your disbelieving eyes, the wizard's body grows stiff, then breaks into dozens of splinters. As you stare at the shattered wizard, you hear hissing. A stinking black cloud explodes from the broken body. You and Laurus edge as far away from the cloud as possible. What will this cloud reveal? The stinking cloud billows and rolls, hiding all that lies beneath it. Laurus shivers and clings to you. His teeth chatter with fear. A horrible, ear-splitting, heart-stopping screech assaults your ears, and an inhuman head pokes out of the cloud. It glares at you. It is the ugliest head you have ever seen. It looks like a chicken, but it has no feathers. Its eyes are large and lidless. A large curved beak snaps open and shut. The head turns back and forth, the bright red eyes studying the detail of the room. You start to move slowly towards your sword. As soon as you move, the creature squawks loudly and rises above the cloud onto two bat-like wings. It hovers in the middle of the room, too frightening to look upon. Scary monster. Almost there. Almost there. It appears to be a cross between a bird and a snake. The large bird-like body covered with scales hangs suspended between the two large bat-like wings. Dirty white feathery down covers its shoulders, and there are razor-sharp talons on each of its four legs. The creature beats its wings upon the air, uncertain at first, then stronger at every flap. Carrick, the halfling squeaks. We better do something or that chicken thing is going to eat us. You edge towards your sword. Screeching wildly, the creature dives at you. You slash out with a rod, which no longer glows, and strike it on one white wing. As it swoops by, the sharp talons rip at your clothing. The creature sweeps and dives in bat-like bursts of speed. You grow dizzy following its flight. Finally, the creature dives straight for you, driving its clawed foot deep into your shoulder. It slashes once, then twice, and circles the room. Then, its great wings beating, it flies down the black corridor. You collapse to the ground, bleeding. Laurus rushes to your side and gently cradles your head. Ripping cloth from his shirt, he presses it against your wound. He feels your shoulder gently to see what damage the creature did. You are lucky, Carrick. It didn't get your face. But you'll have an interesting scar, that's for sure. Do you think you can get up? That screechy chicken might come back, and I don't want to be here. Although your head spins and your body aches, you struggle to your feet. As you rise, the metal rod tumbles to the ground. Thank heaven for that magical stick, says Laurus. We could be crawling around some corridor right now if not for that wand, you say. I don't know what it was, but I'm sure glad we found it. I don't think we could have defeated Kalman without it. Kalman! Where is he? Where's he gone to? Laurus whips wildly about, searching for the wizard. He's gone, Laurus, you say, holding his shoulders. You'll find whatever remains of Kalman when you find that creature. I don't think I'll find either one, says the halfling. What was that chicken thing anyway? I don't know, you answer. But if we're lucky, it's the only one of its kind. We must hope it finds our world an unfriendly place and dies. I don't want to think of what it might happen if it lives. Only Kalman knew for certain. Does this mean we've won? Are we rich now? You turn and face the locked door to the treasure room. If you have found the key that will fit the door, turn to page 126. If you do not have the key, turn to page 125.
I mean, technically, we found the key.
You did find the key. You did find the key.
Exactly where it is.
Yeah. We're just too
You
sick to get it.
look sadly at the treasure room door. You could never break that door down, even with your best effort. No, Laurus, we're not rich. We might as well not have come at all. What do you mean, Carrick? The halfling asks. There's all the treasure in the world sitting right there. Yes, you answer sadly, but it is almost all the treasure in the world. That is almost all the treasure in the world. But it won't do us any good. I can't break that door down. Laurus looks at you strangely. Then, taking a piece of stiff wire from his pocket, he walks over to the treasure room door. He bends the wire in two places, inserts it into the lock, twists, and pop! The door swings open. Laurus, you gasp. How'd you do that? Oh, it was nothing, Laurus responds proudly. I've been picking locks since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And now we've got all the treasure in the world. The end. And that is the Dungeon of Dread.
We did it.
It's the water weird on the cover that we didn't fight.
Oh yeah.
We are so good.
We did it. We got all the treasure in the world.
All the treasure in the freaking world.
How many times did
Just
we
to be
die?
clear, just the one.
Just
we
once.
didn't- Or, yeah,
I think
we
once,
didn't-
and we
we
just
didn't
fucked
die,
off
we
once.
just left.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. Just to be clear, so it doesn't matter whether or not we got the key.
I guess not. The other ending is a page or two. You open it, you get all the treasure. You realize all this treasure was stolen. We could never hope to find the rightful owners, but we could donate part of it. What are you going to do with your share? I think I'm going to claim this mountain for my own and dedicate myself to stamping out evil. And I'll build a school for the training of fighters. Fighters who wish to be good, not evil. And you, Lars the Brave, will be my right-hand man. Your man. The halfling rises and walks to your side. His small face looks up into yours and he smiles. He extends his hand. Your man, he says. We'll come back for the rest later. Edge past the basilisk. Starts spells staircase. Boulder swings past before you. Oh! When you get out, the boulder swings right behind you and you look and there's no way to get back in. Not having the key gets you the treasure.
Yes.
Getting the tree. We could have been locked out of the mountain. Look at that.
We fucking win.
Somebody once told me. Woo! All right.
Stars for Mark's throat.
I do. I don't know if y'all have, if y'all are anxious to go or if you're out for a bit more.
I think this one's good for me tonight, but we have plenty more
So,
for future episodes.
Well, no, I didn't mean that one. I had a proposal if we wanted to keep going.
Oh yeah, what's your proposal?
Well, like since I have like PDFs of, you could play one instead of having to be the meeting.
Ooh,
Since you're always running everything.
that's true. I can play one.
I have like 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 9 different copyrighted phrase books. Find your own adventure book.
Nice.
If y'all wanted to play one,
Pick your
Mark
own.
could play.
let's say, is Pick a Path copyrighted?
Pick a path.
Pick a
I
path
think
is
we called
not.
it Pick Your Own
Yeah.
Path for a while and got in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Or no, that
It was
okay.
like the design of the poster. I think it was. I think we did because it was
Well, I
Yeah.
know. When I did that show was when we started calling it Control Issues.
right.
Yeah, I think Andreas made that change when he wanted to alter the format a little from
Yeah.
the original
Oh.
CYOA sort of format.
I think that's good for me tonight. I've got more packing to do for my empty bookshelves. All the books are on the floor.
Are those books going to go with you, Mark? Or
Oh yeah. I've got about I pulled these 4 out, but I've got about 20 of them. I don't think I have them all, but I've got most of them. And like the first dozen or so are Dungeons and Dragons, and then there's like
Yeah.
villains on Volturnus for the Star Frontiers, and it's got like ones with like robots and other stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, I mean this is a good filler for any time.
It
I
is good
think.
for you, yeah.
So yeah, we could definitely blow through all of those in the course of a year. So
On off weeks.
yeah,
do you have any of those romance ones?
I don't. I have like
That they-
all of the choose your own adventure ones. I don't have any of the romance
Quest.
ones there.
That's what
The
yeah.
pick a path to romance. Yeah,
I didn't even know about those.
yes, I am. Pick a path. Oh yeah, I don't recognize those authors, but Ring of the
Okay.
Ruby Dragon, Secret Sorceress. Those look fantastic. And those are all Heart Quest. Oh, nice. Okay. Madeline Simone, Jeannie Black, Linda Lowry. Yeah. So I don't know if it's all of them, but almost all of these are female authors,
That's Rose.
which is great. This is
Yeah.
Rose. Yeah. It's so weird looking at. So Rose is going to be on a panel at Gen Con I think
Right.
Friday night, which I'm gonna be GMing during, so won't be able to get it. But I think they're gonna record it. So, but yeah, she's gonna be around. She almost never goes to conventions, so hopefully, like, this would be cool. But yeah, I was like looking at some of the old TSR stuff again, kind of just like refreshing some. Another Chris Bissett is another game designer. They're gonna be going through the old dungeon magazines and like doing kind of like walkthroughs and reviews of those, and like looking through the names, like over half of the authors that were in Dungeon and like Dragon magazine, like, are women, which is so, like, something changed like in like the 90s or early 2000s, where like everything kind of like shifted the old white bearded guy again. It's really interesting, and some of them are like some of the old ones are coming back, but yeah, and then like of course now it's open season on everyone, which is great.
Yeah.
Did the marketing shift, like with computer games, right?
Yeah.
It was originally marketed to everybody and then narrowed to just
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah, I mean, the 90s were a rough time for advertising for all sorts of games with lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the old ads, you know, when they always had those ads like, oh, like you don't have to go out, you can have fun
Yeah.
in your. Like I feel like there was always like one girl in that, in
Yeah.
the same way that like
Yeah, like the TV ads
know.
and stuff.
I remember there was somebody made a joke once. Some black person on Twitter made a joke about how they were trying to avoid the campus photographer because they're like, I don't want to get
Don't
in
want to be
the
the
brochure.
token.
And then at the end they're like, oh, he got me. Like, I'm in the brochure.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Gosh. Oh no, this is the one I was thinking of. Nah, maybe it's just guys. That's hard to tell. 80s feathered hair. That looks. Who needs to hang around? I've got Dungeons and Dragons adventure game.
Fair.
It just sounds like.
Who needs to hang around?
Yeah. Who needs friends? I have overalls.
That doesn't even make sense. Who needs to hang around? Well,
Yeah.
everybody, if
Who
you
needs
want to
to hang
play
around?
Dungeons and Dragons.
This is serious. We're not hanging around. This is serious business. Serious business.
Yeah.
And you sense that this is not the person you want to be playing Dungeons.
Serious
But it's funny
business.
also, like, I remember, just to tell a quick story. After college, I moved to England for a few months on a work visa that I could get as a recent graduate. And I, like, went into a game store. I didn't know anyone. I went into a game store, and I was like, are there any games? Like, where do people play?
Mm.
And they're like, oh, like, you know, at this pub on Thursday nights. So I was like, okay, sure. So I started going there, and I just remember, like, people would describe their characters in the same sort of prose
Right.
as that book. You know, there's a lot of, like, people being, like, clad in shining raiment, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, I guess this is not the same language you use every day.
Yeah.
This,
It accurately. I don't know. Like, is that accurately reflecting players from back then, or did people like read these books and like dungeon descriptions and stuff and learn to
Yeah.
talk that way and just like feed into itself?
Yeah.
But yeah, the writing is
also,
very different than modern RPG writing. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. Like you go through an old module and like, okay, here's a box text to like read around describing everything,
Mhm.
and it's just like I can't sit still for this.
Yeah.
This is too much. And you get to like a modern thing, and it's like 3 bullet points, like, you know, dank, musty skeletons. Okay.
Got it. Thank you, Merkberg.
Long, ugly.
Long, ugly, and
No third thing.
yep, and also ugly. Still ugly.
Hideous.
Yeah. It's either cool breeze, water. Gosh, they did a top secret Star Frontiers.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
Somebody
something they got.
needed to buy a thesaurus.
It looks like they got Did they get the license for Tarzan for a little bit?
Ooh.
Doesn't make any sense.
So they had the Top Secret, Gangbusters, Gamma World, Star Frontiers. Boot Hill, the big ones, and then Indiana. They had the Indiana Jones license for a while. The Nazis
I had
TM
that,
in
yeah.
it. Yeah,
I had that
it
game.
was so good. Little standees, and Marvel superheroes. Yeah, I think there's some Marvel superheroes ones. I'm not sure. I don't have them, but I feel like I remember seeing them. Maybe not. It seems like a perfect fit. Star Frontiers, Hyborian Age. Yeah, weird.
This is interesting. If you look at like the series 1 from 82 to 87,
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, lot of women being represented.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell from names, and then like series 2, 94 to 96, it's like Michael, Nick,
Yeah.
Lewis, Michael, Nick, yeah, and Kay Brown.
Yep. Terry.
Yeah. Also, like I remember when I was young, I was like, oh, like it's so cool that Dragonlance, is written by 2 women who are married, like Margaret Weiss and Tracy.
Yeah. Nope.
Yes.
Oh, wow. There's ones that were released in 2018 and 19. Oh, Matt Forbeck. Oh, Matt's on the panel with Rose on Friday. That's why. Interesting. I had no idea there were new ones. Well, I got a lot of catching up to do.
More things to buy.
I got a lot of eBaying to do. All right.
Maybe after the move.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. I'm gonna stop the stream.
Boys,
Bye, internet. See you next time for what's the next one? Next time on Endless Quest, it is the Mountain of Mirrors.
Okay.
Sometime. We'll see. Bye, internet.